Welcome to this explainer. I was looking at the data recently, and did you know that over 60% of people who carry a self-defense tool have literally never practiced using it under stress? Crazy, right? Today, we are taking a serious, grounded look at the realities of personal protection in 2026. Choosing a self-defense tool is, well, it's an incredibly personal decision. It depends entirely on your lifestyle, your physical abilities, and of course, the laws where you live. But the landscape of personal safety gear is just absolutely crowded with marketing hype. Navigating it, that requires clear, factual information, and that is exactly what we're going to dive into today.
So here's a question for you. Is carrying a self-defense tool enough to keep you safe? We need to tackle this right away. It's a genuinely dangerous assumption to think that simply buying a piece of equipment acts as some kind of magic shield guaranteeing your safety. Actually, relying purely on the purchase of a tool without understanding how it works or exactly when to use it can actually leave you much more vulnerable.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap. 1. Distance tools. 2. Close contact and alarm tools. 3. Choosing your right tool. 4. Legalities and travel rules. 5. Common self-defense myths. And finally, 6. The ultimate safety strategy.
Section 1. Distance tools. Sprays and tasers. So we're beginning our proximity arc with the absolute safest category of self-defense, tools that keep attackers far away from you. Because when it comes to personal safety, distance is your best friend. The everyday standard in this category, pepper spray. It uses something called oleoresin capsicum, or OC. Basically, it's an oil-based resin extracted straight from hot peppers. It is widely considered the gold standard for everyday, non-lethal protection because, well, it's highly effective and requires minimal training. When it makes contact, it triggers intense burning, immediate temporary blindness, and coughing and severe difficulty breathing. Now, these effects are completely involuntary and last a grueling 30 to 45 minutes. That gives you a critical window to escape, but crucially, the effects are not permanent.
Now, while traditional sprays usually max out around 12 feet, premium modern pepper gels are a total game changer. They can shoot a sticky, concentrated stream up to a staggering 18 feet. 18 feet! And because it's a thick gel, it's much less affected by the wind. That means there's a significantly lower risk of blowback hitting you in your own face. Plus, once it hits the target, it literally sticks to the attacker's skin, making it incredibly difficult for them to just wipe it away.
All right, this brings us to a massive area of confusion in distance defense: stun guns versus tasers. People use these terms interchangeably all the time, but they are entirely different technologies. Choosing the wrong one could leave you seriously vulnerable. A taser gives you that standoff distance, up to 15 feet. It fires two little probes that embed in the skin, delivering electrical pulses that cause what's called neuromuscular incapacitation. That means they completely lose muscle control. A stun gun, on the other hand, requires you to physically touch the attacker. It relies purely on close contact pain compliance and sensory disruption. Completely different ballgame.
Section 2. Close contact and alarm tools.
Okay, we are now transitioning the explainer to tools that require you to be uncomfortably close to a threat, which obviously escalates the stakes. But before we get to physical contact, let's talk about the ultimate no-contact deterrent: personal alarms. These little keychain-sized devices emit a deafening 130 decibel siren. To put that into perspective, that is the literal volume of a live rock concert. The sudden extreme noise is designed to startle a threat and immediately attract attention. The great thing, they are legal in all 50 states for all ages. But here is the critical limitation: they will not physically stop an attacker. In a super isolated area or a really noisy environment, that sound just might not bring help. Now, if you are looking at discrete, everyday carry options, you might consider keychain and striking tools. Kubotans, for instance, are these 5 to 6 inch rods that amplify your striking force against pressure points. They're also tactical pens made of aircraft-grade aluminum with hardened tips that blend in perfectly in an office setting. Some even have what are called DNA catchers, textured surfaces designed to scrape and collect the attacker's skin cells for forensic identification later. We also see those cat ear keychains, though, as we'll see in a minute, those carry some really heavy legal risks. But the firm warning I need to give you here is that these are strictly close contact tools. You have to be within arm's reach of an attacker to use them, which means you need intense physical training for them to be genuinely effective.
Section 3. Choosing your right tool.
And this brilliantly illustrates our point. Now that we've reviewed the gear, let's actually figure out what fits your specific lifestyle and physical capabilities. Finding the right fit all comes down to your personal priorities.
So if your priority is a tool that is legal almost everywhere and super easy to use, pepper spray or gel is definitely your answer. If you want maximum standoff distance, you want a taser. If you want absolutely no physical contact and zero legal risk, grab a personal alarm. If you need something discreet that just blends right in, a tactical pen works wonderfully. And if you're highly trained and need a last resort impact tool, you might consider a Kubotan or a stun gun. Ultimately, it all comes down to what you are actually comfortable carrying and, more importantly, practicing with.
Section 4. Legalities and travel rules. Now, comfort and preference aren't the only factors here, because we really need to ground this in reality. Self-defense law has changed drastically the very moment you cross state lines. Carrying a tool that is perfectly legal in your hometown can literally make you a criminal in another state. For example, California limits pepper spray canisters to a maximum of 2.5 ounces. In New York and Massachusetts, you can't even have pepper spray shipped to you. There are super strict purchase rules requiring you to buy in person from a licensed dealer. Stun guns, entirely illegal to carry in Hawaii, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Michigan, and Chicago. And those cat ear keychains we mentioned earlier, totally illegal in California, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Massachusetts, and New Jersey. You absolutely must check your local laws.
And if you are flying, well, the rules become federal. The TSA is very clear here. Almost all physical defense tools are strictly forbidden in your carry-on bag. The only thing going in the cabin with you is a personal alarm. Everything else, stun guns, tasers, Kubotans, tactical pens, the whole shebang must go in your checked baggage. And even then, your checked pepper spray cannot exceed a 2% tear gas concentration. So definitely plan ahead before you pack.
Section 5. Common self-defense myths. All right, let's do a little pattern interrupt here, because buying the right, legally compliant tool just isn't the finish line. We need to shatter the false confidence a lot of folks have after they buy their gear. So the crucial point is debunking this massive myth, the idea that any tool is better than no tool. The absolute fact of the matter is that a tool you cannot deploy rapidly, don't know how to use, or simply haven't practiced with under stress is actually more dangerous than carrying nothing at all. It provides a total false sense of security and can dangerously escalate a confrontation that you might have otherwise been able to just walk or run away from.
Another massive myth comes straight from deceptive marketing tactics. You will see stun guns advertised as having, 50,000 volts, making them sound incredibly powerful. But the fact is, voltage only dictates how well the current can penetrate thick clothing. Actual physical incapacitation depends on microcoulombs, which is just a measure of current multiplied by time. So don't be fooled by high voltage claims alone. It's the microcoulombs that actually stop the threat.
Section 6. The ultimate safety strategy.
We are moving to the climax of our explainer now, revealing the holistic approach to true personal security. Here is your foundational 4-step strategy. Step 1 is situational awareness. Staying off your phone and actually noticing potential threats early before they ever escalate. Step 2 is avoidance and de-escalation. The absolute best fight is the one you never have to fight. Step 3 is carrying a legally compliant tool that you've actually built muscle memory with through regular, consistent practice. And Step 4 is physical preparedness. Just having the basic fitness and understanding of vulnerable targets to protect yourself if all else completely fails. And that leads us to a really powerful final philosophical truth to close out our narrative here. The goal of self-defense is not to win a confrontation. It is to escape safely and go home. Let me repeat that. It is to escape safely and go home. A tool is never a replacement for training, and your ego should absolutely never get in the way of your survival.
For more and purchase, visit our website, Fair Solution. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Now that you know the difference between just buying a tool and having a real strategy, are you truly ready to protect yourself in 2026?